Okay, so let's get right into it. Picture this. It's the night of January 5th. For most people, the holidays are pretty much over, right? But in Italy, kids are hanging up their stockings. And they're not waiting for Santa Claus. Nope, they're waiting for a soot-covered old woman on a broomstick. This is La Befana. And trust me, her story is way more complicated and way older than you could ever imagine. You know, there's this little nursery rhyme that every Italian kid knows by heart. It goes, La Befana vien di notte con le scarpe tutte rotte, which basically means the Befana comes at night with her shoes all broken. And it just perfectly paints this picture of a mysterious, kind of worn-out figure flying through the night sky. She's this beloved icon, but she's also a total enigma. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We know the basics. She brings candy and sweets to the good kids and a lump of coal to the naughty ones. But is she a witch? Is she just some kind of Italian Santa Claus? Or is she something else entirely? Something much, much older? I mean, just look at this comparison. It immediately shows you how different she is. Santa's this jolly global celebrity. La Befana, she's uniquely Italian. She's an old woman covered in soot. She shows up on January 5th, the eve of the Epiphany, not Christmas Eve. And her gifts are different too. Bad kids don't just get skipped over. No, they get a lump of coal or sometimes even garlic. It's a pretty clear message. So let's start with the most common version of her story, the one that kind of neatly plugs her into the whole Christian Christmas narrative. So the legend goes something like this. The three wise men are on their way to Bethlehem, right? And they get a little lost. They stop at this old woman's house to ask for directions, and they even invite her to tag along. But she says no, she can't. She's just way too busy with her cleaning. Well, later this huge wave of regret just washes over her. She realizes she's missed out on something incredible, so she frantically packs a bag of gifts, grabs her broom, and sets off to find them. But she never does. And so now, every single year, she flies across the world, leaving gifts for every child, still searching, still hoping one of them might be the baby Jesus. It's a really tidy story, you know? It's a moral tale about regret and redemption, and it perfectly explains why she shows up right before the Epiphany. It takes this mysterious witchy figure and makes her into a kind of charitable, repentant character. But you gotta wonder, is that really all there is to it? Because this is where it gets really interesting. If we start to peel back that Christian layer, we find something way more ancient and, frankly, way more powerful underneath. Get this, the truth is, La Befana's origins predate the story of the Magi by more than 1,000 years. Her roots are deep in pagan rituals tied to the winter solstice, you know, the darkest time of the year. Ancient Romans actually believed that for 12 nights after the solstice, these female figures would fly over the fields to make sure the harvest would be fertile. These weren't witches. They were seen as avatars of goddesses of abundance, like Diana or Strania. It was only much, much later, as the church was trying to grow its power, that it started to condemn these beliefs. The Magi story was actually a brilliant piece of marketing, a way to take this incredibly popular folk figure and reframe her for a new Christian audience. And this makes La Befana a textbook example of something called syncretism. It was a really clever strategy. Instead of trying to completely stamp out a belief that people loved, the early church just absorbed her. They gave her a new name, Befana from Epiphania, and a new backstory that fit neatly into their worldview. It was a way to smooth the transition for pagans without totally destroying this powerful tradition. And when you understand those pagan roots, suddenly all her weird characteristics start to make perfect sense. Her being old isn't just a random detail. She literally represents the old year, which has to die to make way for the new one. Her broom? It's not for witchcraft. It's an ancient symbol of purification, of sweeping away all the bad stuff from the past year. And even the coal, that was originally a good thing, a symbol of the ritual bonfires of renewal, only later did it get twisted into a punishment. So because of this really complex layered history, La Befana today isn't just one single character. Depending on where you are in Italy, she shows a totally different face. The diversity here is just astounding. It really shows how different regions held on to different pieces of her ancient story. In Veneto, they literally burn a giant puppet of her to get rid of the past year's bad luck. In Liguria, she's called Bazzara, and kids leave out their old shoes hoping she'll fill them with new chocolate ones. In parts of Maremma, you have groups of men called Befani who go around singing. And then in Corsanico, she's a genuinely scary figure, used for discipline, and she even has this unsettling sidekick. And this detail from Veneto is just perfect. It's a direct line back to her agricultural roots. They don't just burn the old woman for fun. It's a form of fortune-telling. They watch the sparks to predict how good the next harvest will be. I mean, that is a direct echo of those ancient pagan rites. And in Tuscany, the celebration has a taste. They make these special anise-flavored cookies called Befani. Families would bake them together and give them to each other as little tokens of affection. It's a beautiful tradition, but like a lot of folk customs, the practice of making them at home is sadly starting to fade a bit. So, after peeling back all these layers, the Christian story, the pagan roots, all the regional quirks, why? Why has this figure stuck around so powerfully for thousands of years? Well, there's this Italian proverb that I think sums it up perfectly. Epifania. Tutte le feste porta via. It means, Epiphany takes all the holidays away. And that's her essential job. La Befana is the great bookend to the holiday season. She doesn't start the party, she's the one who ends it. Her arrival is the signal that the fun is over and it's time to sweep away the old and get on with the new year.
So in the end, you see, La Befana isn't just one thing. She can't be. She's this living tapestry of Italian history. She's a pagan symbol, a Roman echo, a Christian figure, and a local icon, all woven together. And more than anything, the fact that she's endured for so long just shows how much we need figures who mark these big transitions in our lives, figures who help us sweep away the old and make way for the new.
Her story really forces you to look at your own celebrations in a new light, doesn't it? It's a reminder that behind all the familiar stories we tell ourselves, there are often these deeper, older, and far more complex truths just waiting to be discovered. It makes you wonder, what ancient rites are hiding in plain sight in the traditions you hold dear?